Good evening. One of the most wonderful adventures I've ever had in my 30 years of mountaineering was to visit Baffin Island in Canada. This beautiful wilderness is unsurpassed in many places. The size of the glaciers, the beauty of the rock, the tremendous cliffs, the expanses of nothing, which to some people might sound barren and bare and empty, are to me filled with such beauty. The pristineness, the emptiness, the skies. It was something very special. I travelled to Baffin Island in 2003 with a team hoping to climb the tallest peak, Tete Blanche. And all seemed to go well. And then the weather changed, as the weather often does when you're in the Arctic. And it bucketed down with snow, which slows your progress even if you are on skis. And also, if you've never been to a place like this, you'll probably not be able to understand the perspective, the size, the enormity of these places. You look at a peak and say to yourself, I'll be there in a few hours, and 3 or 4 days later, you still haven't got there. This is the size of a mountain, of a glacier, of an island that you're dealing with. And Tete Blanche was not possible. And so we changed plans, and this is not uncommon in mountaineering. We changed plans and went to climb the Penny ice cap. We'd made a strong camp. We'd sat a 6-day storm out in it, in raging blizzard conditions, zero visibility, high winds. It was really terrible work. But we survived it. We dug ourselves out every morning. We kept people going every day until we got a weather window. And instead of going for Tete Blanche, we went for Penny, and we went very quickly. And it was one of the most beautiful, magical days of my mountaineering life, because the snow was pristine and it was like glitter. The slopes of the ice cap were curvaceous and beautiful. The sunshine was magnificent. We hadn't seen sun for days. And when we came home, the sunset was just beyond compare. The skiing back was magnificent, and we got back to our tents in the dark, very cold, but very happy. And it reminded me of the classic cocktail party where you perhaps go to meet someone and they're not there, or you can never get to them, or you suddenly realise that wasn't the person you wanted to visit, and you meet someone else and they enchant you. And yet, like brief encounter, it can never happen. And those beautiful moments you share are beautiful, but short. And that's what happened to me on the Penny ice cap in 2003. Cheers. And so when I returned, I sat at the desk behind me and wrote my love letter to Penny. Dear Penny, if I'm plainly honest, I hadn't come to see you, but one of your friends. She, however, was in a foul mood and threw snow at me in great quantities. At one point, I thought I might be buried or blown away, but I've survived worse, and I had my hatches well battened down. It wasn't until she calmed down that I finally noticed you. Had you been hiding from me? The Arctic sun shone so beautifully upon your pristine figure that I felt compelled to introduce myself. I have to admit, being in a rush, but you were just too intoxicating to ignore. It wasn't as though you stood above everyone else, physically, but you had an aura and a magnetism that bewitched me. The air outside was bitterly cold, drawing perfect white clouds from my breath. But when we met, you showed me a warmth that I shall never forget. When we touched, you sent shivers down my spine and brought peace to my tired eyes. As I sit writing this letter at my desk, tears are streaming down my face, reliving that moment. I fell in love with you instantly, and from that moment my heart has always remained yours. I was devastated when we had to part, but we had separate ways to go and little chance to change them. I vividly remember sweeping down your slopes on my skis as crimson light filled the skies around us. It was one of the most touching moments of my life. All these years later, the pictures still make me weep. Dearest Penny, I do hope we meet again. I'll stay longer next time, if not forever. I know you live in a cold climate, but I'd endure anything to be with you. Good night.